to the Leadership Unveiled, a podcast series that explores the minds and journeys of the pioneering leaders, entrepreneurs shaking up the business world. I'm your host, Neha Jagnani, and today's conversation is one that blends strategy, scale, and sustainability. In a world where energy is central to progress, transformation isn't just about technology. It's about vision, responsibility, and long term impact. Our guest today brings all of that together through his work at the intersection of energy, digital innovation, and customer experience. Welcoming Rahul Tandon. Rahul's professional journey at Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited spans over 28 years and reflects a leadership path shared by breadth, responsibility, and difficult choices rather than predictable progression. Over the years, he has moved across diverse functions, including sales, marketing, strategy, digital transformation, retail, LPG, and gas, often stepping into roles where systems needed rebuilding and decisions carried real consequences. His work consistently involves operating at scale, aligning commercial objectives with institutional trust, and delivering under pressure across complex stakeholder environments. Recognized along the way for his contribution and credibility, he believes leadership is less about waiting for perfect conditions and more about acting when the cost of delay is higher than the risk of decision. In an energy sector, navigating constant transition, Rahul's journey stands as an example of conviction led leadership where responsibility, consistency, and character define progress and sustain growth. Rahul, thank you so much for joining. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Neha. It's indeed a pleasure for me also to be a part of this podcast. I look forward to your interesting questions, and that was quite an elaborate introduction of mine. Thank you for that.
Sure. Thank you so much, Rahul. I look forward to this exciting podcast today. So, to begin with, my first question, Rahul, is how do you see the role of gas evolving in India's growth and clean energy journey?
Uh, So, Neha, in the recent World Economic Forum held at Davos, Switzerland, renowned economist Geeta Gopinath highlighted that air pollution poses a far greater threat to India's economy than any tariff imposed by the US, underscoring the urgency of cleaner growth pathways. Reports indicate in 2024 alone, air pollution led to business revenue losses of nearly 260 billion US dollars, which is equivalent to 6% of India's GDP. That makes clean energy adoption an economic necessity, not just an environmental one. If you look at China, China's coal to gas transition demonstrates that gas is not a compromise, but a strategic accelerator, enabling rapid improvement in air quality while sustaining economic growth. And India stands today at a similar inflection point. Uh, gas enables India to grow rapidly while reducing emissions intensity, offering a cleaner alternative to coal and liquid fuels without compromising reliability or scale. It will play a critical bridging role in India's growth story, supporting industry, powering cities, and backing up renewables when solar and wind are unavailable. This will allow fast growth without locking into high carbon choices. Gas infrastructure, if you look at it currently within the country, is getting future ready for blending with CBG and hydrogen. Compressed biogas plants supplying CGV networks convert waste into energy while reducing methane emissions and supporting a circular economy. If you look at the adoption of PNG in households, that is eventually and going to reduce reliance on LPG cylinders, enhancing safety, convenience, and quality of life, particularly for urban and semi-urban families. So, it is evident that gas is going to be the driver in terms of energy transition uh, to transformation in the coming period of time. I mean, I can quote many examples to it. Just to share, many of Indian manufacturers have already switched over to natural gas, and in process to switch over to natural gas, they are looking forward to some of the regulations which are in the offing, which will help them get carbon credits for the kind of reduction contribution they are doing to NOx gases. Gas-based power plants complemented with solar-heavy systems are coming up in states like Rajasthan and Gujarat, and this will stabilize supply in non-solar hours. CNG adoption in metro cities has significantly lowered vehicular emissions and particulate matter. So everywhere you see gas is now picking up. Gas is becoming the fuel for today and definitely for future.
Sure. Thank you so much. It was really insightful, Rahul, based also backed up by some research, as you rightly mentioned about Geeta Gopinath's research on air pollution. A beautiful example there on China. So it's safe to say that gas is actually enabling India to grow, and gas infra is getting future ready in today's times. So thank you so much for your insights. Moving on to the next question, which is, what are the key factors that help the gas business create long-term value for industries and communities?
Uh, Trust and stability. These are the core drivers of long-term value. Reliable, affordable, and clean energy builds trust, which transforms gas from a commodity into an enabler of sustained economic growth and better quality of
Sure.
assured supply, predictable pricing, enable industrial growth. Stability allows industries to plan their capacities, their investments and expansions with confidence, thus making gas a strategic input rather than a short-term fuel choice. Pipeline-based delivery ensures safety and reliability. Unlike other hydrocarbons that have to move on wheels, gas flows through pipelines, offers safer transportation and continuous uninterrupted supply. The recent chaos which happened on the Pune Bombay highway, which led to a traffic jam of more than 30 hours, was because of one of the fuel tankers, getting overturned, which would not be the case if gas was there and it would have been moving through pipelines. So, resilient infrastructure proves its value during disruptions. And if you recall, during COVID-19, when there were movement restrictions, gas continued to flow through pipelines, reliably meeting the energy needs of connected industries and end consumers. So, cleaner energy delivers direct community benefits. And I think these are some of the factors which have created value and will continue to create long-term value for the industries and communities.
Oh, beautifully put, Rahul. So truly, trust and stability is a real driver of long-term value addition to the industry. So thank you so much for that. My next question, Rahul, is the energy sector is constantly influenced by global and local shifts. How do you plan for the long term while managing those short-term challenges?
We manage short-term volatility with agility, discipline, and fearlessness, while keeping our long-term strategy steady. Because institutions that endure are built on consistency of purpose and not reaction to cycles. So I think this is essentially what we are. The key is to stay calm in the short term and clear in the long term. While staying calm, that does not mean that you have to be muted. You have to very carefully gauge and act at the right time. While in long term, you have to be very clear what is the objective, the purpose for which you are getting into a long-term arrangement, be it for sourcing, be it for customer tie-up, because energy will always face volatility, prices, geopolitics, policy shifts, but these are managed through agility and strong risk management. And I think BPCL, at its core, is an organization which is better known for its agility and taking risks in a controlled and defined manner. When it comes to long-term strategy, it remains anchored in fundamentals such as demand growth, energy security, and decarbonization. With these anchors steady, short-term noise becomes manageable rather than disruptive. So, a diverse supply mix, domestic gas, long-term LNG, spot procurement, along with portfolio balancing across indices and geographies, cushions price and demand shocks, allowing us to absorb volatility without passing instability to customers. So that's how we manage both short-term and long-term. And above all, we have wonderful teams who are very swift, agile, talented, and ready to face any situation.
Sure, thank you so much. So many takeaways indeed from this, Rahul. So the first one, the biggest one for me is the to manage the short-term volatility. It's agility, discipline, and fearlessness that comes into the picture. Then some of the key points that you have mentioned is staying calm is important, but not muted at the same time. Carefully gauging the situation is another one, and being clear on the long-term objective. Last but not the least, a strong risk management can enable you to have those long-term value addition even when you're managing the short-term challenges. So thank you so much for that. My next question, Rahul, is how do you build teams that can manage day-to-day operational excellence while also thinking long-term?
Well, it starts with clarity and trust. The teams need clear ownership of day-to-day operations. So execution remains strong and predictable while leaders deliberately create space for strategic thinking. Um, Trust and empowerment are critical. I don't want to use lingo, but I very strongly believe that each one of my team members or other stakeholders who are a part of this value chain, I think each one of them want their space, want themselves to prove. And if we are able to align together to a common objective, I think then everything gets on to rolling. Yeah. As far as strategic thinking is concerned, it has to be intentional. We have regular leadership forums, reviews, and reflections beyond daily operations, which enable forward-looking conversations. Strong systems. We have to build gas business as compared to our other businesses. In BPCL, we have six business units, and gas is the youngest business unit in BPCL. So we have been, building strong systems to reduce operational noise. We have been adopting robust processes, digital tools, and standard operating frameworks to free teams so that they can focus on improvement and future readiness and not just continuity. Uh, Second very important thing is having led the digital transformation for BPCL marketing business. One very important activity which we have done is completely digitizing the point from where we get the first molecule into our system to the point we sell the last molecule to our end customers. So we have a complete visibility so that we are able to deliver trust, convenience, and personalization to our customers. This will be visible shortly to all our customers in form of experiences which they have not witnessed in the CGD industry. So these are some of the things which we are doing. The goal is not choosing between today and tomorrow, but building teams that deliver reliably today while consciously preparing for what's next.
Sure, that's a great input. You started with clarity and trust and ownership. It basically makes the execution remain more predictable. Sharing a common objective is must, and strategic thinking has to be with intention. I think that makes the team to thrive in such ecosystems. So thank you so much for your input. This brings us to the last question, Rahul, for this segment, which is what excites you the most about the future of clean fuel adoption in India?
What excites me most is that India's clean fuel journey has moved decisively from aspiration to action. So when a country commits at this scale and seriousness, outcomes become transformational. The sheer scale and national intent behind clean fuel adoption is unprecedented. There are no longer there is no longer talk about pilots. We are building ecosystems. We are building infrastructure. We are creating markets across the country. So it is not an experimental initiative. It is a sustained momentum which has gained, and I'm so happy to be a part of this entire journey, which is not about future. It is about changing the present so that we can have a better future. So, the rapid expansion, just to give you an example, rapid expansion of CGD networks, pipelines, LNG terminals, clean transport fuels is creating an irreversible momentum and long-term confidence. And so it's the government supporting with long-term policy clarity, encouraging capital investments in innovation, and aligning stakeholders across the entire value chain. The pace at which you have seen ethanol getting blended in petrol, in the current regime, you will see shortly the focus coming on compressed biogas getting blended in CNG or in CNG, and that is what excites us most. That there is so much to do, there is so much to contribute to our nation in this manner for a better, safer, and a cleaner tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Rahul. Great insights there. You spoke about how it has evolved from aspiration to actions, building ecosystems which are not experimental, but it's about a sustained momentum. So great takeaway there. This brings us to the end of the Q&A segment, Rahul. Now we are going to switch gears, and this activity is rapid fire, where we get to know you a little more. So are you ready?
So this rapid fire is again going to be gas based, or this is going to be personal?
It's a mixed bag, Rahul. It's about to also know about your leadership side, more than just the information that we have gotten in detail from the previous section. It's going to be rapid. It's for audience's benefit and also for everybody to get to know you a little better. So if you're ready, I can just shoot. Oh, great. Okay. One word that best describes the gas business today.
Underrated, transitional,
Okay. A leadership trait that matters most in energy sector.
clarity under pressure.
Okay. One assumption about clean energy you think needs rethinking.
That clean energy isn't always grid ready.
Okay. A habit that keeps you effective on demanding days.
Stay calm when everyone else is shaking.
Okay. All right. The biggest misconception about large public sector organizations.
Oh. that PSUs are outdated when they are actually nation builders evolving with time.
Okay, great. A skill future energy leaders must start building on.
Connecting dots with discipline,
Okay. A technology trend that excites you in the energy space.
many of them, but smarter data-led, tech-driven energy systems.
Okay. One decision making principle you rely on consistently.
Pause once, decide well, and act fast.
Okay. So sustainability to you is idealism or opportunity.
Of course, opportunity with responsibility.
Okay, great. Last one for you, Rahul, is if you weren't in the energy sector, what would you be doing today?
I would have been a stand-up comedian. No, that was on the on the lighter note. Probably building something impactful at scale, just in a different avatar.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. This brings us to the end of this podcast. The rapid fire, I must say, was quick, was sharp. And thank you so much for your insights today. Your perspective on energy transformation and the future of clean fuels has added a lot of value to this conversation. So I thank you for taking out time for this, Rahul.
Thank you very much, Neha. It was indeed pleasure speaking in this forum and speaking with you. I hope this conveys more about what BPCL is into than just some viewpoints. Yeah. Thank you very
Sure,
much.
sure. Thank you so much. Looking forward to many more interactions, Rahul. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.